This game is a perfect example of why you should not box score scout. Avs win over the Arizona Coyotes 4-3 in the shootout.
Alex Newhook!
Oh boy.
Whoa!
Let's start with a cliche here. At the end of the day, the Avs got their 2 points, and in the standings, it doesn't matter how they got there, it just matters that they got them. A win against Arizona counts exactly the same as a win against Vegas. Now, when you look at the box score, you would certainly feel like the Avs dominated this game. They outshot Arizona 47-26, and on the whole, pretty much every metric, both advanced and standard, the Avs look very, very good in. And while there was a significant portion of the first period where it did feel like the Avs were dominating, for a lot of this game, it really did not feel very good for Colorado. Let's get to that in a second, though, because things started off great. Inside the first 5 minutes, the Avs took a 1-0 lead, exactly like you would expect against a weaker team. Devon Toews, who arguably had a pretty bad night, fires off a breakout pass here. When you're doing stuff like this on a bad night, you know you're a good hockey team. It's a perfect pass right through the neutral zone that catches all of the high Arizona players off guard. Mikko's able to get in the zone for free before hitting Berkey rushing up the wall. From there, Berkey's able to pull up and get this puck back to Toews after Arizona's forwards all overcommit on the comeback because they panicked. Toews is able to get a good shot on net. It's not one that you're going to score on, but it creates a nice rebound firing it low off the pad, and wouldn't you know it, Mikko Rantanen has not been covered at net front. This is actually almost an incredible play by Johan Larsson. He actually gets his stick on this puck, gets a significant piece of it, but Mikko is lucky enough to get just enough of it that it still goes in. A nice quality play. If that goal doesn't scream the Avs know they're better than you, I don't know what does. From there, the first continued to be a pummeling. The Avs would outshoot Arizona 18-8 in the period, and they would add a second goal from some of their depth players. A team like Arizona, definitely a get-right team for some guys. On a night where the Avs didn't work very hard, this goal is the exception to the rule. You have Mikhail Maltsev coming in behind the net, and he straight up just outworks 2 Arizona players to win a puck battle and eventually get it to McDermott in behind the net. It's just great work from a guy trying to earn a roster spot with this hockey team. You love to see it, and that's the way he's going to earn more time. McDermott comes in behind the net, just throws one out front. It comes across, looks like it goes off Prosvetov. The Yotes aren't able to corral the puck. It comes right to Tyson Jost in front, and Jost, just with a little chip shot, gets it up high and goes in. So the Avs are 12 minutes into this game, and they're already feeling really good about themselves. But the thing is, even against a weak team, momentum can switch very quickly. The Avs had the opportunity to bury this game in the first period with a power play late, and instead of capitalizing, disaster happens. Not only do they fail to score on the power play, but they end up giving up the shorty. I would like to state for the record, I've never liked Sam Girard working the half wall on the power play, but every single player involved in this makes a significant mistake. Girard is looking to get this puck back to Toews at the point, and I don't know if he fully flubs the pass, but he just doesn't put anything on this, which leaves it wide open. Now, Toews could have made 2 better decisions here. One, if his reaction time was quicker, he should have stepped up and aggressively challenged the puck to keep it in the zone more effectively. Or 2, if he recognized that he wasn't going to win the race, he should have backed off. If he backs off, this play is never, ever, ever dangerous for Arizona, and it's a nothing play. Instead, he gets caught in the middle where he takes just one stride to the puck, allowing Keller to get a little bit of a poke check in and knock the puck loose. From there, he's caught. Keller is already at a higher rate of speed than him and gets up down the ice. Now, Toews does do a decent job back checking here and forcing Keller to make a quality play on him. He does get a body on him and a stick in, so credit there, but this play never should have gotten to this point in the first place. And then Frankie not able to keep this puck out of the net. This isn't a particularly great shot, and it even banks off of Frankie before going in. You really would have liked to see him stop that one. 3 points of failure is usually too much for any team to withstand. And this goal took a game where honestly, it seemed like Arizona didn't have much interest in really being competitive in, and turned it into one where all of a sudden they knew they were in the game and they could keep up. The Avs would also hit 2 posts in this hockey game and miss a handful of good quality chances, a little bit better finishing, and the Avs probably run away with this game, but that's not the world that we live in. Instead, you have the Avs play a second period where they acted like they were up 3-0, but they were only up by 1, and not for very long. Look, I know Arizona's not a good team, but for being the worst team in the NHL, look at how talented this team actually is. Look at the fast puck movement high in the zone here, where they're just ripping off passes left and right and making the Avs chase pretty hard. Now, Kessel ultimately does fumble a reception here, but that actually ends up playing into Arizona's advantage. He just throws a puck pretty hard down the boards to get it in deep, a safe play here, and Taves is challenging. He gets a stick on this puck, but it deflects off of him and in towards the center of the ice. A little bit of an unfortunate bounce, and then Taves gets a little bit caught. As the puck comes to the center, it drops right to the Yotes, and all of a sudden, Taves, who was thinking he's going up ice with the puck, is now caught in behind the play, and a simple little drop pass gives a grade A opportunity right in front to Larson, and Francouz just gets beat up high. The bane of a small goaltender. If you can rip it top bar, you beat him a lot. Look, let's be honest. A lot of people who watch the Avs want to see them bury a team like Arizona. They don't want to see this be a close game. But the Avs just seem uninterested in doing the hard work for pretty much the entire second period. They leaned on their skill, and that was good enough to look like the better team, even if Arizona was pushing back, but it wasn't enough to get the job done. Now we have the weird part of this hockey game. The Avs ended up going 0 for 5 on the power play, including giving up the short-handed goal. A bad night for the power play, especially against a bottom 5 penalty kill in the league. Hockey is funny like that sometimes, though. The Avs were perfect on the penalty kill, killing 4 of them, including a full 2-minute 5-on-3. So a little bit of a reversal of roles for Colorado, usually relying on their power play to carry them through special teams. It was their penalty kill tonight that got the job done. I'm going to be honest with you, it did feel too nonchalant from Colorado all night long on this one, but can you really argue with the result? Start of the third period, the Avs immediately make a critical mistake. This is probably the goal that should give Avs fans the most concern. Arizona is able to win a puck back here and get possession in the offensive zone. After a fanned attempt from Kessel, there's a puck battle that the Avs just aren't able to win. Now, credit Kessel, he does some great stick handling here to make the Avs look a little bit of a fool high up in their own zone, before eventually walking in and hitting a totally uncovered Shane Gostisbehere. It's just a brutal breakdown from a little bit of a lack of effort, but also a situation that the Avs should have never been in the first place. Tied 2-2 at the start of the third period. Gostisbehere fires a laser here, but also Frankie not great at getting across and making himself a big target. He gets beat cleanly. Look, against a better team, I think that goal is probably a disaster, and the Avs likely go on to lose this game, even with the number of comebacks they've had over the last couple of weeks. But you're against a weak team. Colorado's a good team. They flip that switch when they need it, and less than 30 seconds after Arizona takes the lead, Colorado ties it back up. All it takes is a few little mistakes for a team as good as the Avs to capitalize. Arizona has already lost a stick here, and while they're able to eventually get this puck out of their own zone, it's extremely sloppy, with players running into each other and then kind of going for a lazy change where they just slowly skirt off the ice as Cale Makar collects this puck. Makar recognizes it, gets it up quick, and suddenly the Avs are going up the near boards while Arizona is still coming onto the ice and not pressuring aggressively because they can't. There's just no way they can be close enough. Taves makes a fantastic pass right here, chips it through the gap to find Burakovsky in stride moving into the zone. Burakovsky's able to keep his speed to go to the outside and then does what Andre Burakovsky can do. We've seen Francouz get beat up high a couple of times in this game. Berkey can beat just about any goalie up high, the perfect corner pick. Look, that's the version of Andre Burakovsky that everyone wants. It's why you put up with his weak games, because at any time, on any night, he can fire a shot like that. The third period on the whole did feel like the Avs were in control. They outshot Arizona 11-3 in the period, but at the same time, it still felt pretty low event. Once the Avs got the game back to tied, again, it just felt like they were stuck in a mid-gear. They couldn't quite kick it up to finish the job. And I think it's a fair argument to be concerned about that and a lot of the other issues in this game, particularly a bad late penalty by Mikko Rantanen that gives Arizona the chance to win the game late and carries over into overtime. The Avs' lack of capitalization on their own chances let a bad team hang around in this game, and it could have cost them. It didn't, but it could have. As mentioned, the Avs' penalty kill was perfect on the night, so they managed to get that job done. They get into overtime, and this overtime was genuinely fun. It wasn't a one-and-done type situation. The Avs controlled the puck well for a lot of it. Not to say Arizona didn't get their chances. Frankie came up big in overtime. There were some not great goals, I think, by Frankie in regulation. But overtime in the shootout, the guy showed up when the Avs needed him. Seems to be the Avs' mantra on the whole this year. Show up when they need to. The Avs certainly had the better of the chances, I think, in overtime, but again, they don't capitalize and it forces the game to a shootout. Now, if you're new here, I hate the shootout. I think it's incredibly dumb. I think it's poorly paced for what is the rest of a hockey game, and the part that everybody hates is I'm perfectly fine with ties. I have no problem with a game just ending tied in regular season hockey. If you're absolutely against that, I understand, and why not just play a little bit more 3-on-3? 95% of the games, you play a couple more minutes of 3-on-3 and it's going to end, instead of this weird, awkward shootout. But I know many of you love the shootout, so I will leave it there. The shootout was kind of boring. The only real dangerous shooter for Arizona was Clayton Keller as their third. Their first two didn't seem to challenge Francouz too particularly much, and Francouz made the saves that he needed to. The Avs side saw Mac put on a great move, but again just couldn't quite find the finish, banking it off of Prosvetev's stick and out. And then Mikko Rantanen pretty much had Prosvetev beat. He got him to bite on a leg kick and then just lost the puck and almost fell over, and the shot didn't even count. So again, the Avs leave it to the last second, but someone shows up when they need them to. This time, the guy that has gotten snubbed from the All-Star game. P.S. Go vote Nazem Kadri into the All-Star game. He absolutely deserves to be the last man in for the Central. He shows up, and he wins this one. I never really know how to break down a shootout attempt because you have eyes. You can see what's happening. Kadri walks in, he chops it up a little bit, but the key component of this is a hard cut to the backhand, and at first, Prosvetev doesn't bite. Right there, Kadri's on the backhand, Prosvetev is in a great position, but Kadri holds it just long enough. If we frame by frame it here, he's still on the backhand. Just as he starts cutting back to his forehand side, you see Prosvetev's left pad start to drop. He's got him right here. This play is already over. He's gotten him to bite. Kadri cuts it hard back to the forehand side. Prosvetev can't push back to that side and leaves just enough of a gap from the post for Kadri to tuck this one in and win the game. Avs win 4-3, and while that's all that matters, I do think it's an interesting disparity. When you look at the statistics of this game, you probably feel really good about the game the Avs played, but when you take the eye test, you really don't feel very good about it. It feels like the Avs could have played significantly better and handled this game significantly better. But a dub is a dub, and the Avs get to go do it again in Arizona today. So maybe they just take 4 points of 4, and in the long run, you don't think about how the sauce got made. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and Coyotes fans, I feel for you this year, believe me.
Avalanche time, come on, grab your friends. We're going to the playoffs again with Nate the dog and Gabe the big. The fun isn't over yet, it is Avalanche time.